Arts. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the RavenzCraft Arts Interviews Project. In this episode, I was lucky enough to sit down with one of my personal favorites in the crafts. His name is Birch Tree, or they call him Uncle Birch. I first discovered Uncle Birch on YouTube a few years back. And at the beginning of my practice and studies, I was really searching for someone I could connect with and really understand how they could explain things. And Uncle Birch was really one of those persons that stuck out and really, he could teach me the things the way I understood them. See, the thing is with Uncle Birch, he's not all flashy and showy and trying to advertise himself. He's just about truly teaching you the real things. And that's what I really like, and he's really a personable person. He will talk to you like a regular person. He doesn't try to put himself up on a pedestal. He is here to really teach you the true ways and teach you what he has experienced. And I think this is really important for someone learning these arts and crafts, that they really pick someone that they can connect with and understand clearly. He has ran a shop in Santa Cruz, California for a very long time. This shop is now strictly just an online shop, but it still provides all the great things and information it did before. His shop is pretty much a one-stop shop for anything witchcraft or ritual related. He's got tons of herbs, tons of oils. And when I say tons, you look at these pictures and you can see what I mean. But his abundance of materials and supplies does not take away from his authenticity and the effectiveness of his supplies. I haven't had the opportunity to buy much from his shop yet, but I did get some frankincense that is very quality and works very well. But I can really tell Birch is really good in his intentions and what he is trying to do. So if anybody out there is new on their path or even old in their path, I would suggest go taking a look at what Birch Tree has to offer. He has many YouTube videos. He also offers some training courses, some advanced training courses, so you can find that information on his websites and his YouTube channel. And I also want to say he's very interactive. If you comment or send him a message, he usually will get back to you. All of us are really busy. You got to expect that sometimes. But if you have a question, he usually will get back to you. And I just want to mention that, witchcraft and paganism is always put off in society as a horrible or negative thing, that we sacrifice babies and just all kinds of outlandish things, and this is completely not true. I believe witchcraft and magic is kind of like a gun. It's up to the holder, it's up to the person that wields it. If you're a bad person, you will do bad things with that gun. If you're a good person, you will protect and you will, serve your people with that gun. So I really believe it's up to the person. And a lot of the teachings is really based on psychology and resetting your mind and really trying to connect with your higher being. We talk about some of these things in this interview along with some of his own personal experiences with witchcraft in his life. So I just want to say thanks again to all the viewers and supporters out there. I hope you enjoy this interview. We have a few more surprise interviews and events to announce in the future. Stay tuned, and here's the interview. To thank and welcome you to the RavenzCraft Arts Interviews Project. I know time's hectic, and I appreciate you sitting down and doing this. So,
sure, no problem.
All right. My first question I wanted to ask you, for all the followers and viewers that don't already know, I know it's kind of hard to put a label on these things, but what would you kind of call your main practice or following?
Well, I'd have to say witchcraft, because it's such a broad term. It covers most of what I do. Pretty much all of what I do. Everything I do is witchcraft. Everything I see, everything I hear, I think to myself immediately, how can I use that in witchcraft? Even like my wife's Chinese medicine doctor, as she was studying, she'd come home and show me these, where you put these needles on the body to move the chi around the body. And I go, God, that's witchcraft right there. If I could just figure out where the points are on a voodoo doll, I could use Chinese medicine for voodoo. But I don't really practice voodoo.
So, you're open to, a diverse area of witchcraft. That's kind of one of the questions I was going to ask you, because I me, I kind of work with more Norse pagan, the Norse gods and stuff like that, but I also like planetary magic, and there's different stars like the septagram, the pentagram, and I like to use those things as well, but sometimes you feel like you shouldn't be doing that, and I just kind of wanted to know your thoughts about being diverse.
Yeah, I'm also involved in several types of witchcraft. A little bit of ceremonial magic on the side, some chaos magic on the top, and of late I'm involved in a couple ATRs, African traditional religions as well. I don't see a problem with it. A lot of people talk about cultural appropriation these days, and when it comes to spirituality and religion, I give cultural appropriation a wide berth. Gods and spirits touch who they want to touch, and you may get touched by something totally alien to your DNA, and you probably need to go with it. If it touches you, if they come to you, you might want to see what they have to say, regardless what the skin color of their deities is.
Right.
But I also say, if you're going to follow somebody else's traditions, you're going to get involved in a tradition you've not been involved in, I say, do it with respect. I'm an anarchist. I don't believe in a whole lot of rules, but in some of the ATRs I've been involved in, they have very specific rules. I follow the rules. Right. I didn't do anything until I was initiated. I didn't talk about it until I was initiated. And there's other systems I've been involved in. They have their rules. And since I'm joining it as an alien, I should at least do it with respect. And I think that's where it's not cultural appropriation. It's when you just take another culture's shit with no respect and say it's mine. There you got your cultural appropriation. So right. As far as all of that's concerned, it's witchcraft. And many people call it by many names. I know people that practice hoodoo, and they think that they're Christians. I disagree. I think the Bible says specifically that they're practicing witchcraft, if they want to believe in the Bible. If you're manipulating the exterior world with sticks and stones and twigs and sprigs, candles, oils, incense, that's witchcraft. I don't care what you call it, and I don't care whose it is, I'm going to use it. If I think it's going to work for me, I'm going to use it. It's going to be part of my bag of tricks.
Right. I agree with you there. I hope that answers the question. So next thing I was going to ask you, when was it or how old were you when you kind of discovered that, you needed to take a different path?
Oh, goodness. Well, I think I probably discovered I needed to take a different path when I was 9. Because I look back on it, I was a witch from birth, and I figured out what I was when I was about 13. A very rocky road trying to figure it out until then. But by the time I was 13, I knew I was a witch, and I knew there were other witches out there, and I started formal training in a druidic system. My first system would be a druidic system.
Was there any specific person who inspired you or kind of got you started on this, or did you kind of just come upon it on yourself? Or
I think I told the story probably on my YouTube channel early, I think it was junior high or early high school. As a punk rock kid, ditching class, terrible student. I was good at reading, science, and history, and all the other classes I sucked at. So I was ditching school at a friend of mine's house, and we knew that her mom was a witch. And we broke into her mom's room and dug through her stuff. And I found her magic kit. I found her magic notebook. And I cracked open her notebook, and I immediately knew what it was. I said, okay, here she's got spells that she did with all of the components on one page. And about 3 months later, on the next page, she has results. What happened? Every time, it was about 3 months in between each spell. So it's, common, like lunar witchcraft. And a lot of the bottles in her kit had a little, had a label on them. And it was the Eye of the Cat, 3314 East Broadway, Long Beach, California, 90803. I still remember the address. It's probably one of the oldest witch stores in the country. They're still open, the Eye of the Cat. And so it's took several buses and walked a long way and found my way there, and it seemed like I didn't leave the place for months. I ditched school every day and went to the witch store until they kicked me out of one high school. They sent me to another high school that I never really showed up to. And I think that then they were going to, when they kicked me out of the last high school, they were going to send me to the future high school of Snoop Doggy Dogg, Gangtown, Long Beach. I said, you know, I heard of this GED thing. I'm going to do that. And I went and did some college later and that kind of thing. But at that point, I had dropped out of high school to study witchcraft full time. And been doing it ever since. Apparently, at 13 years old, I had discovered what my career was and what I'd be doing the rest of my life. And I probably only recently figured out that I figured that out at 13. Finally accepted that this is what I'm going to do forever, pretty much.
Yeah, that kind of leads into the next question I was going to ask you. Do you believe that practicing the arts of magic and stuff like that can inspire you to be more confident and creative and get you to, you know, be more motivated to do what you need to do?
Yes, absolutely. I found a lot of witchcraft and definitely the origins of ceremonial magic would be psychology. I would trace most of that back to Solomon, and what Solomon had was a complex system of psychology because he knew that the mind controlled the magic. So early on, I was a spooky little kid. They didn't have goth yet, but that's probably what I would have been. So I was an OG, original goth. They didn't have goth yet. It was probably death rock, I think they call it. So, dark clothes, spooky kid, but couldn't do this. Could not public speak. Afraid of crowds, nervous around people, extreme lack of self-confidence. And when I saw the relation of psychology with witchcraft, psychology became witchcraft to me. And I learned about subliminal programming and hypnosis, and learned how to reprogram myself. And I reprogrammed myself, and next thing you know, I'm a public speaker. Then I eventually had a stage career for a while. I was a musician, traveled around for about 5 years, did nothing else. So since then, I've been in front of people, in front of crowds. Now I'm, teaching people all over the world. So I think my early experiments worked. So I think that drastically changed my confidence. But I always, even though I was scared of crowds, I was scared of people, I could right away teach witchcraft. And I could right away sit in front of a bunch of people and teach that. So I knew it was possible. I knew I had the confidence. I just had to channel that confidence into other things. So I'm a great advocate of mind control, controlling your own mind by any means necessary.
So I totally agree with that. Yeah. I've learned that it kind of surprised me when I was learning about witchcraft that it is psychology and it is about resetting your mind. And it's like you start with a blank slate again, and you can do so much once you get to that point.
Absolutely.
All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about your YouTube channel. I know you've had it out for a while. What kind of made you start doing that, or did you just kind of have an idea like, hey, I want to reach people? And
yeah, I wish I could know the guy's channel. I had a brick and mortar shop for about 15 years. So I taught a lot out of there, and I often would get, a 13-year-old kid about there. As long as their parents were cool with it, I'd let them in the class. But I rarely ever had a kid that age finish a class. And it is usually an intro class, so 5 classes. Rarely ever did a kid that young finish a class. And I had this kid, he was really sharp. John was his name, and he took 3 out of 5 classes. Didn't hear from him again. And I heard this rumor that this kid was on YouTube teaching witchcraft. And I went and found his channel, and there he was. This kid had absorbed everything that I taught him in those 3 classes and retranslated it into his own speak, and it was doing a great job teaching on YouTube. And I couldn't conceive of such a teaching witchcraft on YouTube. You can't do that. And so I sent him a message and told him, I liked his video, and he replied. He said, "You should do that." And I replied, I said, "Well, first of all, I'm a radio guy from way back. I don't know anything about this video, and it's against the rules, and you can't do that." And as soon as I sent him the message, I looked at it and I read it back, and I went, "Oh God, I sound old. I sound old and staunchy and afraid of new technology, stuck in radio when it's a dying industry." And so I made my first video minutes later. I think it was on wands. I think my first video was on wands. And so I just immediately started teaching on YouTube. And originally, what I did it for is working in a witch store all day. There's several common things that are going to happen every day. Some of you are going to want a love spell, a money spell, revenge, protection. Sometimes people go prosperity instead of just money. So there's like 5 main things that are going to happen every day, and I'm going to be telling people the same thing over and over and over again. And what happens in a witch store is they take notes, and then they leave you, and then they call you back a couple hours later, having lost their notes, and make you tell them what you just taught them again. So I started making these videos for all of those common things, and then when that happened, I just refer them to the video. Say, "Oh, just watch the protection video again, or watch the curse removal video again." And then it was pretty much so I didn't have to repeat myself. And then it just took off, a life of its own. And then now I have there's a private channel that you can't see that are my correspondence students. I have these correspondence classes now. I've been doing those for like 5 years. So I've got my main channel, and then I've got the private channel and people learning other stuff. And last I checked, a couple hundred videos. I don't pay attention to the subscribers. Somebody told me they were like 4,000 or something recently. I don't really look.
Yeah, you got quite a bit, and I just wanted to say, what you're doing with the YouTube channel is appreciated. You're educating people, and I don't follow many teachers, but you are one of the people that I listen to because you kind of have a way to explain it where I understand it.
That's my job.
So, I know you said you don't usually do interviews and stuff like this. I just wanted to know kind of what made you feel like you had to get involved with this.
This morning when I got up, I clicked on one of the links that you sent, and I got to see some of the work on your channel. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of work you're doing, but really had no clue what it was you're doing. I tend to operate by feel. Just the instinct. I immediately, it was something about your name too. I said, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool. Somebody with a name like that sounds like something I should do."
Hey, that's cool, man.
The limits of my critical decision.
So another thing I was going to ask you, do you have any, special events or anything coming up that we got to look forward to, or?
Not right now. Constantly have videos coming out. We just got past the holidays, so I had a bunch of sales. I've got a class coming up. Oh, I guess that's an event. I've been starting. I've gotten to the point where I have to start a new correspondence course almost every Sabbath. And so this next one's actually starting on New Year's. So January 1st, I've got the regular cyber witchcraft class, which is a year and a day. And then I have an advanced class, which is also a year and a day. And those are both starting on the 31st. And it should be, if anybody goes to my channel, it should be the featured video. And I think it pops up in the little bar on the bottom of the video. But every couple months now, I start a new one of those. So I've got, I think, four going at one time right now.
Yeah, I know you can get pretty busy. So what I'm trying to do is get, legit teachers out to the new crowd like me and my followers, and I just want to, it's hard to find good teachers, basically. You have to sift through and to find really someone that actually knows what they're doing. And I was just wondering if you were open to maybe collaborating on a focused topic later down the road to kind of, get the younger viewers to start following you and, get them on the right path?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I do full time.
Awesome. Yeah.
Full time witchery. So yeah, anything more I can do, probably have time to do it.
So basically, I just, is there anything that you have to say to all of our new witches and new followers out here? Any words of wisdom or anything you could tell us? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah. Don't believe the hype. We've come a long way in the magical communities, and once upon a time, Wicca was the only way to go. It was the dominant force, and unfortunately, a lot of what I saw in Wicca was certain people that had no power using it as a way to have power over people. The bee priestesses, this kind of thing. Some powerless person that wants to have a coven around them doing everything they say. That's not the only way anymore. You don't have to deal with that. And it's a huge party these days. Don't let anybody tell you what witchcraft is. So I have occasionally people will come to my channel and call me a Wiccan. It's really hard to peel all the witchcraft out of Wicca or the Wicca out of witchcraft. They will always have some relation, but Wicca's not the only people that came to the party anymore. There's, now we got the Norse, we got the heathens, we've got ceremonial magic, Italian witchcraft in the last probably 20 years. We have more Italian witchcraft than anybody ever knew, and now we got the ATRs coming, and the hoodoo's huge on the scene. One of the things we've got to keep in mind, all of those people don't have those same rules as Wicca. And that's the reason a lot of people stray away from Wicca. They don't like it. Wicca became very dogmatic. And witchcraft shouldn't be dogmatic. And I guess the core of my message I'm trying to get to here is watch out for things that limit you. Gods, goddesses, and spirits, your ancestors, they don't limit you, they free you. They show you possibilities, not limitations. Shy away from traditions and crafts that try and limit you and tell you what you can't do. They should be telling you a lot more what you can do rather than what you can't do. So there's a lot of crap out there, so try to steer free of the crap, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, well said. I didn't want to take up too much of your time today, so just want to thank you again for doing this. We're all looking forward to seeing more from you. Hopefully I can get you to kind of be a follower of me too, and we can get some people on the right path.
Yeah, I'll plug your channel now that I know about it.
All right, cool. Thanks again for doing this. Nice talking to you. I hope we'll be in touch soon. Merry part.
Okay, merry meet again.
Yep, you too. Merry meet again.
See you, man.
I just want to say thanks again to everyone that got involved in this project and all the viewers out there. Please share and subscribe at our YouTube channel at Tim Raven Rotar. You can follow us on Instagram, and we have our website on Facebook, RavenzCraft Arts. There is still a lot more to come. I have some more interviews to release and some more exciting news, so stay tuned, keep checking with us. We appreciate all the likes and the shares and the comments. Don't be afraid to stop by our website and give us a review. We also have many items in our website shop. You can check out some of their items on the RavenzCraft Arts website. The link will lead you directly to their websites, where you can see a lot more of what they have to offer. We also have a Patreon account set up, so any help is appreciated. I have a special $2 a month subscription program where you get access to extra content. You get early access to certain videos, discount codes for certain items in the website shop, along with unreleased content that's not available to the public, only available to you in this special subscription. This would really help support getting better equipment to provide you with more entertaining educational content. I plan on making a lot more and collaborating with a few artists here, so still have a lot more exciting things to come. And thanks again, and like I always say, stay on the positive path.